Tai, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well, Shalom to the hopeful elect. I just wanted to, touch on a few subjects, various topics or whatever. I did, I probably might do a bit of video later and show some footage. But recently I've been noticing that, it's not recently to be honest, but I've been noticing it more and more that a lot of these foxes are coming out. Usually you tend to see foxes at night. You know what I mean? But now I've been seeing them like during daylight, and before a fox will see you and it run off. Now it's like you can almost get close to them. That I see them like running past me. Foxes never used to be that brave. I don't know whether or not they have foxes in America, but in the UK, these foxes they used to be shook. You come by and they hide underneath a car, and then when you walk past, they come out from underneath the car. You wouldn't see them during the day. When that whole that CV hit and everyone was at home, you know these animals start coming out their places. And it goes into this second address. I'll start at 5. And blood shall drop out of wood, and a stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled, and even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowl shall take their flight away together, and the sodomite she Esau just made everything backwards, shall cast out fish, and you see that with the whales beaching themselves. They rather beach themselves than be in the ocean. How this man has destroyed everything, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known. But they shall all hear the voice thereof. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and a fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. See, this is where you have to be as wise as a was it wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. You really can't. Wisdom is too much for a fool, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. One land shall also ask another, and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, No. So men's gonna say, Right, are you righteous? And men's gonna be like, No, no, I'm not. See, and this goes into what I wanted to discuss with the various topics, because there's a Jake, and I know for a fact he's a Jake, just because of his spirit. But he's alright, and I see him at the gym or whatever. An older Jake, he's like 50. He's still strong for he has a good body, but the mind and the spirit not necessarily. And yeah, he was like what did he say? I remember one time, like I've been going to him to train a little bit, you know what I mean? Because he's got a little thing he wanted to set up, and he was like, "Yo, just give me £5 for training, just just give me £5 for a training thing." And I was like, "Alright, cool." So he said the first one's free, so I took the first one, but then it was good. So I went a second time, and I went to the cash machine. I've taken 10 out, and I couldn't bother to make change. So I'm like, I give him the 10, and I gave him the 10 just to see his spirit, because if you're saying it's £5 a session, I give you 10, you're gonna be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna give you, the next one's free or whatever. And I was meant to go again, and he didn't show up or whatever, and he was like, yeah, the next one's free, and I was like, I gave you 10, and you said it was 5, even though you said it's a free session, really and truly, but it's like, it's just the way he's moving with it, you know what I mean? And I'm not somebody to not give man his wages, Even I remember I had a garment from one of the sisters on one of the Big Brothers channels, Non-Stop on the Block, and she sent me a garment, and she was like, just pay for the garment, you know what I mean? And I was like, how much is the garment? She was like 30, and then I saw no, she said just pay for the posters and packaging, like she wanted to give me the garment free, you know what I mean? And I was like, how much is the garment? And she told me the price, and I looked at the posters and package, and I paid her a full thing. You know what I mean? So she dealt with me correctly, so I dealt with her correctly. But and you can really test the spirit of a man, you know. Uh, and I want to get us Hebrews 4:12, which goes into my point. This is Hebrews 4:12. For the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So, and it's not big. It's just a word, so brothers know how to deal with people, even though brothers pretty much already know, because the spirit that these people are in, when you go into the scriptures, even though they might say they're righteous or whatever, you can tell from the scriptures that they're not righteous. Because this guy, he considers himself a righteous person. He'd be like, I'm a thief or whatever, and I might have done this and that, but I've got morals. And I'm looking at man like, this is how bugged out Jake is, and he's a cool dude. But Jake. Jake's cool, but Jake's also bugged out. He'll say some bugged out stuff, you know. And it's like you're really supposed to measure people by the word, and you can see from how they act according to the word that the truth isn't in them. Because how can you say you're righteous or you have morals, but yet you're a thief? And a guy, I remember he called me one time. He was like, "Yo, I stole some dog um, you know, I stole some dog biscuits or something for his dogs because he's got dogs. You know what I mean? He was like, oh, he's just an Edomite or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was like, you still ain't supposed to do that. It's not really your place to be taking other people's stuff. And I looked up a couple. I looked up a couple scriptures. Where is it? No, I don't. Yeah, this ain't the scripture, man. Is it? Yeah, there it is. I think that's the wrong one. Proverbs 6:30. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. So from the scripture, if he stole to feed himself, that's one thing. But he's not somebody that needs the money like that. So that's wicked. He probably doesn't think it's wicked. And this is Jake. Jake doesn't really go according to the word. Jake just really goes by by their own heart or whatever. And I've heard even Jake say this when you talk about the scriptures. They'll be like, "Oh, what's your opinion on it?" It's like, this is what the scriptures say. What the hell does my opinion have to do with it? If you're stealing for your dog, you're not really stealing for yourself. And if you can afford it and you're stealing it, that's wicked. And I remember he even said one time, he beat up some man because this man beat up his woman, and I was like, yo, the scripture straight pops into the mind. No man know the way of a man and his maiden. I don't want to butcher that. No, I'm not saying you know that is right to hit women, but you don't know what she did. You don't know what she did. She might have given him chlamydia. You know what I mean? She might have cheated on the dude. And really, when you cheat, you're supposed to be put to death. But I'm not saying that's right, but you can't go and beat up another dude because he hit his woman or whatever the case may be. It's got nothing to do with you. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what it is. She should leave if that's what the situation is. If that's what it is, it's got nothing to do with you. Proverbs 30:19. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon the rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. Such as the that's going into something else. You don't know the way of a man and his woman. And even I was watching one of the brothers, Win Judah. There's a there's a word before it, some Win Judah. You know what I mean? And he was like, each brother is different with his woman, just like all the brothers have different talents and so on and so forth. Every man deals with his woman differently. So I can't give you advice on how to deal with your woman when your spirit and her spirit are different than my spirit and my woman's spirit. You know, you're not supposed to involve yourself in that. So it's like the more you be talking to Jake and things be coming out, the more you see Jake really is Jake's wicked. And this is why the Lord needs to come back, because it's like there's really no reason with these people. Because if and I can just tell from his spirit, he thinks he knows everything. Especially when a man is older than you. And the scriptures talk about not people despising your youth, You know, if you have any level of wisdom, you know, old folks ain't trying to hear it. They're looking at you like, this youngster can't tell me nothing. These times you're saying things out the scriptures, and they're like, well, I believe in God. What does this have to do with anything besides, you know, the white man changed the book and all of this stuff? And you're like, yo, you know. And this is Ecclesiasticus 22:13. Talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that have no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. Because, you know, who you hang around, you're the sum of the five people you hang around with. So if I'm somebody and he's like, yo, call me, you know, you're cool, we can talk. And I'm like, yeah, you're cool for me to go and train with. And it's like you kind of have to use the word as not abusing it, you know what I mean? I could a cool Jake, but it's like I can't be around that, because if I'm trying to say something righteous, he's just gonna turn around and be like, yo, this, that, and then me and him are gonna have that friction, you know. This is why it says, you know, thou shalt find rest, because I know with how I think, with how I'm trying to be, how I'm trying to, you know, renew myself every day, you know, increase myself and my wisdom. Me and him are at odds in the spirit, you know. He 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 might not be able to tell, or maybe has an inkling, you know, but I know exactly where it is, because I'm trying to follow Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and he's really trying to follow his own moral code, which is no moral code. Because he said, I remember what he said to me, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday he said this to me, and I was like, all right, cool. You know, that's, I already knew it before, but it's like the final thing. And he was like, I would not sell anyone for any amount of money. You know, not for, I would never sell you out for £1 million. You know, and you have to be careful of people who are too quick to call you friend. I'm not, nigga, I know you 3 weeks, 2 weeks or something, and we're friends. Like, you're cool. Don't get me wrong. I'll help you if I can, but friends, like, nah, you know. And you're really not supposed to be friends with anyone who's not in this truth, or is not trying to follow this word, you know, because you're definitely gonna have odds with them. You're gonna have a different waypoint. This is why it says depart from him, and you find rest, because you're always gonna butt heads with them. You don't need that drama in your life, especially when you're trying to be on a certain path, you know. And brothers might be going through it. You might have people at work you're cool with, you know, but they're cool for just having a quick convo with them. You really don't want to spend too much time around these people, because the more you spend time around them, the more you realize they say some wicked stuff. Man said, I would never sell you out for £1 million. I was like, yeah. I was like, so what about 1 billion? And he was like, oh, you know what, yeah, I might would, but there's a lot of good I could do from that, you know. I'll go and help this person, I'll go and do this, and I'll be like, "Yeah, you know what, I wouldn't be so mad about it." But at the same time, I wouldn't sell him out for $1 billion, because I know why those people are going through what they're going through. I know, you know, the way of a man, you know. The law basically I don't even want to butcher that. Hang on. How can a man understand his own way? So, you know, I wouldn't sell you out for 1 billion. You know, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. So, to, not to say I'm holy, you know, but if I am righteous, and he takes that million, and you know, he sells me out, and then he then vows to make good on other people. That's wicked. It's a snare onto him, you know. And I'm talking to him, and it's like, it's funny, because when you're in the scriptures and certain people are talking, certain scriptures be coming into your head, and you're just like, this guy just, he cut himself. You know, it's a two-edged sword. It cuts. Sometimes I'll be talking to people, and I cut myself, because even certain things he was saying yesterday, I was like, yeah, 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 and I had to catch myself. I had to be like, you know what, yeah, I can't even do that, you know, because I read the Bible, and that goes against what the Bible says. You know, I didn't get too deep into it with him, but I was just letting him know, like, yo, you need to calm down with that talk. You know, I'm really not with that. You know, and it's like Jake don't even realize the way Jake moves. and then they talk about how they believe in God. You know, is real disrespectful when you're in these scriptures, because Jake is so far removed from his power that he doesn't even understand how far he's fallen. You know, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I think yeah, I think I'm still limited to like 15 minutes something. So all praises to the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honest to the elders and apostles of Jeremiah, well, shalom to the for the elect.